talk about Thomas Brown as a coach, right?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't watching most of the game.
And there it is. As we're live, he says he doesn't watch the games, and then we're supposed to.
No, whoa! Don't be putting words in my mouth. This is all you do. This is your fucking life. You put words in people's mouth.
Literally hit live, and that's the first thing you say. I don't control these things.
No, I said I didn't watch the game. I didn't. It didn't say plural. Never pluralized it. There's no point to watch this fucking game after the first quarter.
You should watch the second quarter or just first quarter.
Technically, I did. It was just on the small screen because I was focused on fantasy.
I mean, why?
So it was.
You didn't get the week 1 bye. It doesn't matter.
I only had. Okay, Mister, I didn't make any money yesterday.
Damn.
Okay.
You started it, bro. You started it.
You hit a bet?
No, I got the overall number 1 seed, as did the colleague to my left. It gave me $100, and me and Cooney, we won our first round, so we're automatically getting our money back, even if we lose. So that's $200 minimum.
Damn. Okay.
He's not wrong.
I didn't make any money. I probably lost money. I've been doing terrible in bets.
I've just have been betting. Ironically, I placed a little wager on CD to get over 60 and a touchdown because I wanted to kind of, I was going against him in multiple leagues, and it actually turned out that I won that and everything else. Yes, I'm ready. Sorry.
Okay.
Do we gotta talk about anything?
Stop hitting the fucking desks. How many times do I have to tell you guys? I hear everything.
Do we need to talk about anything? Oh, Miller, what's the... Okay, I'll let you talk about the end of blowout games. Was that in the Chicago game or in general? Celebration.
Huh?
End of game celebration blowout.
Oh, yeah, that was my reaction.
Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about, so I'll let you lead that.
Here we go. Everyone mute.
Hello. Welcome to the Trio of Positivity podcast, people. We got positivity oozing from all of us here. We appreciate you joining us today.
We need you to stop lying to these good people, Lupin.
It's the first thing in podcasting, never lie.
Yeah.
Wow, then half the podcast will be shut down. But you guys know by now, we are a Chicago sports podcast. We try and skim the scene and bring you some positivity. It's been a tough week.
Month, year. You want to keep going?
I think this week was tougher than we had hope, and that was hard, I think. But
it's our fault.
Yeah, we shouldn't have had hope. But it was a tough week. It's been tough weeks, months. We'll talk about it in a minute. I'm your host, Boopan, joined as always by my Positive Brigade members who hopefully will bring the energy today. Miller, Chris, boys, tell me something good. What's up?
The McRib is back. That's probably the best news we've gotten.
I didn't even know that.
The McRib is back. They always tease us and they say it's never coming back. Spoiler alert, it's here.
I swear to you, I haven't had a McRib in probably like 15 years.
What do you mean?
Me neither.
How have you not had a McRib? It's an American staple here.
Probably had one 5 years ago. I don't know, something like that. 10 years, 8 years ago. All right.
To be fair, though, I did get sick off of it one time.
And you're still getting more of it.
It's one of the perks of being lactose. You know what you're dealing with ahead of time. Not saying the McRib is the lactose. I'm saying like if
I was gonna say,
when you're lactose intolerant, but they offer pizza, you know what you're setting. You know what you're getting into.
Not if you're intelligent and walk around with the medicine that helps.
Who does that?
All right, not actual medical advantage there, but
stream listeners, assert dominance. Take a shit in other people's houses. You'll feel like you have power over them.
You'll never be invited back. Great advice.
He still has been.
They won't know it's you.
Quick
Especially if they got kids to blame now.
Quick social plug. You can find us on Facebook on the Trio Positive Podcast. At Twitter, we are at Trio Positivity. At YouTube, we are Trio Positive Podcast. We may have a TikTok. We may have a website. I don't want to do this right now. So
you started it.
Let's see. Let's get the energy and the blood pumping over here. Miller, start us off. Give us a good reaction. Something you want to talk about the past week of football that we just witnessed.
I just have a question to you guys. What do you guys feel about celebrations at the end of blowouts by the losing team? Specifically, when the Bears defender got an interception when it was probably like 31-13, and they still ran all the way to the end zone and did a celebration. Like, I get it. Like, that's all fun and games, but you're getting your fucking ass beat. Like, is it now really the time to start celebrating? Even like the touchdown celebrations some people do, like when they're getting their ass kicked because they scored a touchdown. I get it. It's padding your stats. But at the end of the day, dude, it's just a bad look.
I mean, I'm okay with it. What else do we have to celebrate? Realistically.
Why are you celebrating? You're getting your ass kicked.
You are playing in the NFL.
Yeah, and they're getting millions of dollars to do it.
Some people don't get TV time. Yeah.
No. Like, honestly, can you not see the coach at halftime being like, okay, guys, clean slate, 0-0. We're going to win the half. That was literally the speech they gave.
And they didn't do that.
And no, did we not? It was like...
No, because they scored 14. We scored 13.
Okay, it was a close game in the second half compared to the first half. I swear to God, that was a speech.
Another participation trophy for the Chicago Bears.
It was pathetic. I'm not going to make excuses, but I can literally...
I'm just saying, so you guys are okay with it. Okay.
I don't know.
I think it's fucking shit.
Okay, but in comparison, would you want players like Parsons who just walks out?
Hell yes.
While the game is technically
there was 3 seconds left on the fucking clock.
Doesn't matter. It's still
the game was over.
Still time on the clock.
He was mad at the offense, right? The offense.
No, he was mad on the special teams.
Special teams, yeah.
That was a funky play. There was 3 fucking seconds left on it. He wasn't even out of the... He was in the end zone when the time ran out. It's called emotions. I would like somebody on the fucking Bears to have some fucking leadership and emotion.
It does look like the defense, especially, like, I don't know. They're making business decisions. I saw that multiple times this week. There were definitely plays where they were like, I mean, Jalen Johnson, I think, was on Debo most of the game, and he kind of shut him down. That was probably the
extent. Get out of here, dude. He was on Debo.
The plays I saw.
Debo sucks this year.
But, like, I don't know. Like, he was on Debo for the plays I saw in 22. He was
then you should have put him on Jennings, because Jennings is the only wide receiver on that team that's worth a damn at this point.
Okay, say that about Vikings then. Say, okay, maybe he should be on Addison because he scored.
No. Go look at Debo's stats and tell me what he's done this year.
He's not done much, but I don't know.
Okay, then why are you focusing on him? You should be focusing on Jennings, who's been fucking tearing up the fucking...
He was on Debo most of the game. I'm giving you a fact. It's not something you can argue with me about. Talking about this wonderful game that we just hinted at, let's do our job and do the recap. I'll keep it brief, boys, I promise. Bears didn't get the new head coach bounce, and 49ers looked like the dominant team of old. They dismissed the Bears 38-13, ending our 7th straight loss. Here's the fun part. 49ers were missing their running back 1, 2, 3. Those top 3 running backs. Their number 1 wide receiver, probably the left tackle, and probably the best pass rusher they have. And they were outscored 53 points in the last 2 games in the losses they had. They still look like a fucking Super Bowl winning team against us, and it was pathetic. And again, you could tell one team was playing for slight playoff chances, and the other team was just there. They were there for the participation trophy, as Chris says. So
hey, we were in the playoffs until we lost this game.
I don't know. It was.
We were
was
in
it
the hunt.
realistic? Was it?
We were in the hunt.
Technically, we still are. I think we're not.
Really?
We're not eliminated yet. We're not eliminated yet.
We've been eliminated for quite some time. Stop.
Well, like mathematically.
Mathematically, thank you.
Jesus.
Okay, boys, let's do something differently. Okay. Instead of just going on about 50 things we did wrong, let's all pick one bad thing from the game that we're gonna focus on, and one good thing we focus on from the game. Okay? Everyone on board? Choo choo. Nobody on board?
You can see the excitement in my face.
Fucking dog.
I'm ready.
Okay. I will start with the good. You guys want to hear some good?
Sure.
Cincinnati won. Saints won. So the Bears are picking 9th right now in the Tankathon in the 2025 draft. We bumped up 2 spots. That's the positive I got from this game. Who's got more positives to talk about this game?
So when you say you want to talk about the positives of this game, you went the route of not talking about the game. I just want to point that out there.
You call it silver lining, call it whatever lining. I found something to root for about this game.
You know what? I guess the positive that I could come out with it is that it wasn't a long game.
That's because you shut it off after the first quarter.
Yep. It sucks in the Chicago network. We don't have another channel to watch another game, but you know
it was bad for the whole country. It was like was it the game of the week or was it the early one?
No, we didn't have game. Trust me, this was not the game of the week.
I mean, I don't know. Like it was an afternoon game.
Yeah, but it wasn't Brady. Like even Brady was like, I don't want to fucking go to that game.
I'm gonna be honest here. I'm very surprised that Chris is good. Thought it was gonna be Caleb Williams. I mean,
I have other stuff for him. Don't you worry.
A few weeks ago, Caleb probably played one of the best games of the season, but he didn't have a passing touchdown, and Chris called it crap. And then this game, he has 2 passing touchdowns, and Chris still doesn't give him props. I don't think Caleb could ever meet Chris's expectations. It's just crazy. They're all over the board week by week. I just don't understand it. But, you know, some people just can't evaluate talent like others. And my good is Rome Odunze. Good game. 2 touchdowns.
Probably catch of the year for the Bears. The toe tapper at the end.
Okay.
At the end zone. I even got out of my seat for that one.
Oh, wow. Talk about
bad throw,
Caleb.
But great catch.
Yeah. Caleb, 7th straight start without an interception. So we got that going.
Oh my God, no one cares about that stat. Jesus Christ.
How does nobody care about that stat?
It's a record. It's a rookie
It's
record.
literally an NFL record.
Not throwing an interception is equivalent of just throwing one pass and then leaving. That's not a record you want to be proud of.
I don't think
okay, but that's not a true statistic. I mean, no quarterback that has done this has walked on the field, thrown one pass, and sat on the bench for the rest of the game.
If I'm Caleb and I want to keep
this is going, like fits the definition of how you can't give the kid any credit.
Hold on. Let me cook. Listen, if I'm Caleb Williams and I realize how dog shit this team is, I would tell Warren, I'm like, listen, Warren, I want to keep this record. Let me just throw like 2 passes, like 2 little screen passes, and I can keep saying I haven't thrown interceptions, and then I just leave.
First of all, he's not the one that's sitting at the podium talking about he's not throwing interceptions. That's the fucking media and the statisticians, okay?
It's being followed. You guys are so proud of it.
That's because it's literally an NFL record.
Dude, it's a record. It's not like he hasn't.
It's not a Bears quarterback record like some people keep tabs on for Mitch Trubisky.
When's the last time he had a turnover?
Yesterday.
Thank you. Continue.
Still, point stands. They 1 turnover in 7 games. Like if you had a quarterback that did that, whether it's Tom Brady or whether it's anybody, like that's impressive. Be honest.
Rodgers, yeah. Talking about not so good.
You got something right here, Miller.
Talking about not so good stuff about Caleb,
Shit,
because you were
idiot.
up for this. He was sacked 7 times by a defense that was lacking Bosa, and that looked lifeless in the last 2 games. He's the most sacked Chicago quarterback since the merger, and
Now
we still
that's
have
a record.
and we have 4 games to go. So that was the not so good stat that I had.
So he's on pace to get sacked, what, like 15, 20 more times before the season's over?
Something
like
a little less than that. About 15. I think
About
15.
15-ish? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is a Bears record. By
Now
the way.
that's a record you don't want to be proud of right there.
Yeah, because you put it all on Caleb. We know.
No, that wasn't even on him.
Surprise.
I don't want to drop the ball. Oh, wait. There's my.
Oh, you're gonna use a joke that you've used before.
I got 2 more that I'm waiting for you guys to bring up.
You're such
So-
a cheesy piece of shit.
I'm ready for it. Just don't, That's the one.
Boys, what you got for not so good from the Bears in this game?
Everything else.
I
I don't know what to tell you, dude.
I have
The
one more,
game was
Chris.
fucking crap.
Listen,
Chris, you have anything?
I'm just gonna say, if me and Miller were in that team, we could have gotten more yards in the first half
Great
at some point
With,
stats.
with a touch.
with
push.
nobody else. Just
Nobody
us.
else.
It was
Just-
2
I would've
against
been like,
11.
Miller,
we would
I'm
have
gonna
gotten
snap it to you. We're just pushing the whole way for 3 straight downs, and we'll have more yardage in a half than they did.
Great stat because we had more punts than yards in the first half. We have 5 punts and 40 yards in the first half.
Oh, it gets better. It gets better. Are you ready?
Go for it.
The last 2 games, the first half. Does anybody want to take a stab?
I thought I saw
How
this
many yards?
22.
Yeah. No. How many yards the Bears have gotten in the last?
it was
That's a full game. The last 2 halves of the last 2 first halves of the last 2 games.
Okay, over under 22.
Over.
Oh, 50.
47.
It's
I know
pretty
there's
close.
a 2 in there.
There's not. 57 yards combined for the Bears.
Jesus.
And what about their opponents? You want to take a gander at that? First halves.
I mean, freaking
468.
no. 49ers had 319 by themselves. So 520.
Little higher than that. 598 yards they gave up over those 2 halves. And you want to take a gander at the scoreboard?
Oh,
No, just give us.
That would
just
take
give
a
us-
big old 40-0. So let's sum this up. Over the last 2 games in the first halves, the Bears have put up 57 yards. They've given up 600 yards. They've scored 0 points, and they've given up 40. Let's go.
But it's been a thing all season, right? We've tracked this all season. They started really
No.
slow, but it's gotten
Here's the
way
thing.
worse.
Here's the thing, though, Boop, and I don't want to talk about this now because this was a talking point that we have for later on. We fired everyone that should have been responsible for that what we put out on the field the previous games. I even said it when I picked the Bears to win, which God, I gotta stop smoking. But when
This is what happens when you come over.
yeah, right. But I even said, like, this is on the players. Like, we've gotten rid of everyone. The players have to step up. And it's like, no, we're back on the same ground. Like,
No, we're not.
we're back.
We're
We're
worse.
essentially back. Well,
We're
okay,
worse.
if you want to go that, I went we're back because it's just one game. But holy shit, like has to be talked about. Like, I don't.
The
there's
defense
not much
dropped
more
off
we
a
can avoid.
cliff.
Yeah, the I don't know what happened to the defense. I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
That's a real question. Like that's like
Well, I mean, just take a picture of Eberflus sitting on the couch sipping his whiskey and smiling because he
Yeah,
gets a
apparently-
lot of credit because at
Apparently it was
least
his fault.
he gave
Apparently
up
it
a
was
lot
his
of
fault.
yards. He gave up a lot of yards, but you know what? They never got in the end zone.
Like, I don't know. I know we'll. Are we kind of done with the recap? Can we like start hitting some points because this game was
Yes.
already awful.
Yes,
Yeah.
we can start.
Okay. So I brought this up last live stream, and it was about the lame duck coach mentality, right? And I gave I listened to the episode back. My reasoning was probably not the way I would have wanted it brought up. But I still stand by the lame duck premise that this coach is now going to take responsibility if the defense played horribly or if the offense played horribly. Like, I think I made that statement pretty obvious, right?
Yeah.
So now, given that he has one game under his belt, and there's also other reports that I just found out that I didn't get a chance to message you guys, But can we all agree that Brown is essentially now a lame duck coach? Like, I think it's a statement.
I'm just struggling at your definition of lame duck coach.
He has no opportunity to keep the job no matter what he
See,
does.
I think that's wrong.
See, like we said 5-0 was unrealistic. We said
Right.
2-3.
We said
It's
2
what
and
we
3
had.
he could have a conversation. We said 2
Yeah.
and 3.
This was really bad. Like,
But this was a winnable game in what could have been the 2 wins.
Agreed. The situation we had
guess.
49ers in, like, at least on paper, right? We were probably on the up and up, at least some question marks. They were definitely on the low.
Up and
like,
up? I would not say we were on the up and up. We lost
The
lost 6
offense.
straight. We
But,
lost
like,
6 straight.
The offense,
Offensively, it looked
offensively,
better.
It looked better.
It looked
we
better.
were competitive in games and against good teams.
Well, keep in mind the competitive nature. Yes, we were competitive, but it's because of Caleb's abilities in the second half of games that made us competitive. It's not like we've been competitive from the start. We've been outplayed in basically every game in this losing streak.
Not to knock,
It's just we've had a little bit of luck and flashiness that have got us back into them.
not to put the full blame on Caleb, but even when we talked about what was happening with the play calling and like seeing like the comfortness and stuff like that, like even in this game in the second half, you can kind of see like some stuff is starting to turn, and yeah, we can live with some of the mistakes he's made. Like the fumble, as much as I want to joke about it, like that's a mistake. Like he'll learn from it maybe. But like you don't expect that to happen. But there were some like questionable, like why would we run this at this time and stuff like that. Like it's gonna get to a point where we are gonna have to consider benching Caleb. Like as much as we want him to get experience, we're gonna end up looking at he's getting sacked.
Benching him.
He's getting sacked so many times. You got to think of the long term.
What?
Really?
He's been fine. He's been actually really good at avoiding hard hits.
It's not
despite the number of sacks.
Avoid the hard hits, though, Miller.
But he needs the experience, Chris. He needs the experience. He's going up against defenses. He's going up against defenses that are weak in the passing game. Now is the chance for him to actually have more success throwing the ball. He needs to face these tough defenses. This is the first time in his career that he's going to be facing an opponent that he's faced previously. Yeah. These are learning moments for players. You don't put him on the fucking bench because he's getting sacked 6 times a game. Keep in mind, some of these are on him. Let's be real now.
Especially divisional games, I feel like this is where he actually learned something, because he's going to see Minnesota twice a year. He's going to see Lions twice a year, Packers, and these are 3 of the 4 games coming up. We may look pathetic, we may lose horribly, but I think the only thing, Chris, we can gain from this, except from good draft picks, is him growing.
I agree, but there's going to come a sense that the team just can't protect him. Like, it's going to get worse before it gets better when it talks about protection.
The O-line did look significantly worse this game. I don't know what happened. Last couple
of games, they changed their play calling again.
They didn't even have Bosa. Bosa was out.
They changed their play calling again. We couldn't run the ball.
We haven't ran the ball in like 5 games.
Yeah. Like Caleb has been out leading rusher in the last couple of games.
Like when we try to run 2 tight ends, it's mostly for protection. Like we don't really do anything else. Like I mean, but that's what I'm saying. Like it's gonna get to a point. I don't want it to get there, but like if you see a protection that is meant to be max protect on the quarterback, and we're still getting pressure. I think I saw one of the stats was like, he was pass rushed. On the Fox, it's like it tells you how many was a pass rush, how many times he was hit, and how many was a sack. I think I can't recall the exact number, but I just remember seeing the number being like pass hurried was like 20 or something like that, and I'm like, he has no time.
Out of 34 attempts, 20 times he was hurried. Wow, that's crazy. In terms of Thomas Brown, I think like Shanahan is a great coach, right? We agree. I think he like took this opportunity. I don't want to say Thomas Brown was like, like unprepared, but it definitely seemed outmatched, like by a really good coach. Like they were playing harder with like less talent, if I can call it that. They're not the number 1 players. They were playing hard, and it reminded me of like, and this is probably happening in your office too. Like people get promoted until they fail, right? Like I think that's what's happening here. He was a really good. I think he had some promise as an OC, maybe in like offensive coordinator, and we just promoted him and do a job that he's really bad at. Is what I saw versus a coach that
I
was
think
like,
it's a little early to call. I think Chris has a great point with the fact that this is on the players now at this point. Like, you can't sit here and say, oh, Thomas Brown, this was over his head. Like, this is on him. I mean, at some point, these players all year, they've bitched. They've bitched about the coaching, or Waldron isn't coaching us hard enough. Waldron isn't doing this. He's not scripting the plays. He's not doing this. Okay, we fire Waldron. Eberflus is making bad decisions. They're not doing what we think. The players did enough to win the game. We fire Eberflus. Okay, now we got Thomas Brown. And what do? You lay a fucking egg. And I put a lot of that on the leadership of this team. And I don't know if there is any. And if there's any shining light, if you can joke about it if you want, but it's realistically, it's Caleb's attitude in this whole thing. Like, he goes to some of the pressers and he actually sounds like a competent leader, and he's fucking 22. And you have, sorry, Derb, you have Jalen Johnson running his mouth all week, talking about how the fucking coach Eberflus isn't doing enough, blah, blah, blah. And then he comes into the game when he has a chance to tackle a player and he lets him walk into the end zone. Like, that's the definition of effort. Like, I mean, Jalen's playing good, but he's not playing up to what we expect of him. He's definitely not the number one ranked corner like he was last year. I think he's down in the 20s this year. But it's just like stuff like that. You're not seeing the leadership come out, and it's sad to see. So I think it's more on the players than you can sit here and blame Thomas Brown.
And Boopin, you said he threw 34 times. He didn't. I said he was rushed or hurried 20 times. He only threw 23 times.
my
like,
stats said that he's
17 of 23, 134 yards. So like, that's a stat that has to be looked at too, where it's like, he's not getting enough time. So again, we can nitpick the play calling all we want, but if you don't have a run game, you put in 2 tight ends for protection, and he's still being hurried. Like, there's not much you can do. That's why he averaged less than like 5 yards, 5-6 yards or something like that per completion.
And
like,
you have a defense that is allowing 80, 90-yard drives, because I think Torrey Taylor had a really good game. I think he was averaging 50 plus, pinning him back inside like the 20 most of the time. So, I mean, these guys are scoring touchdowns. They're not scoring field goals.
MVP.
So, I mean, they're driving the whole field every fucking time. I mean, the quarterback doesn't get in rhythm at that point.
No, that's fair. Yeah, next couple of games for Thomas Brown, critical divisional game.
I still don't think he's a lame duck coach. I think he's there for a reason, because they're giving him a tryout. Whether you think he's capable of meeting that head coach criteria is different than a lame duck coach.
But he's not staying to keep the job though, Miller. So you're essentially a lame duck. Like,
he could keep the job.
He's not keeping the job.
He could.
What could he do now to keep the job?
If he ran the table, he would keep the job.
No, he wouldn't.
Guaranteed.
Oh my god! You really? Okay, there's a big
wager. Sounds like a wager.
Hold on. Will he
It's not
run
gonna
the
happen.
table?
No, it's not going to happen.
So realistically, he's not keeping the job.
That's different than a lame duck coach. A lame duck coach means you're in the spot to basically be done with it. No chance of having it.
Yes,
it's not like the case.
Scapegoat.
There's already again.
If he ran the table right now, he would keep the head coaching job. Guaranteed.
And we would be probably okay with it.
Yes, because we would be 8-9, and we would have beaten the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions. Yes, we would all have been happy.
You can say that when we're only responsible for those yardage in the first
I'm just saying. Listen, he's not a lame duck coach.
It's a lame duck coach. You can keep saying that. We're not going to hire him. Rumors are already swirling. And the one thing I wanted to bring up, and I'm sorry to do this to you guys, I really was going to try to send it to you. I just did not get a chance to do it today. Did you guys hear the rumor, Waddle and Sylvie, that Poles is not happy that he is not reporting directly to the owners, but that he is only reporting to Warren, and he did not want that power dynamic?
That's like not confirmed though, right?
That's
it's
not
like,
confirmed. For a
yeah.
radio personality,
Sylvie was already wrong once this year.
He has been. You're absolutely right. But he has had connections in that organization.
That seems really weird.
Even Waddle being a former player there, so like as much as we can say that it hasn't been confirmed, and I don't think anyone wants to confirm that rumor because that's just a deal breaker for anyone else coming in.
My
But
question,
that doesn't seem right. I completely disagree. That's like saying
president there, right?
I'm the operations. I'm not going to report to the president. I'm going to report to the CEO.
Yeah, and there was
It's like skipping a step. That just doesn't make sense. You report to the president, and then the president reports to the CEO.
I get it, but given how we saw that press conference and I saw his demeanor, like
I think that's what he was going after.
Yeah, I think that's where you're kind of like body language says a lot, and it's
like ESPN 1000 is the source. Jackass, okay, get it right.
For those listening, because apparently I have to do this, but I still stand by the statement of if you're using previous scenarios and then you're trying to incorporate what you may or may not have heard allegedly, there is some I do feel like there is some truth to it. But also, I just find it weird that a lot of this stuff always seems to come out like when we're losing, like even the drama that's happening with the Eagles, like the drama that's happening with the Eagles. I would love to have that drama because we're fucking 11-2.
I don't know. I said earlier there's some rotten in that team. I feel like something will come out, but like
it's the quarterback. I don't think he's a good quarterback.
Don't say that, brother. That brother got.
I know.
Number one. Got me
number
one.
Saquon's got you at number one because Saquon's been down on the 1 yard line 11 times this year.
Tush push, baby.
But like, here's what I hate about the Bears. We can probably move on. Is these rumors, right? So many ones that come out and refute it. I hate the team is so like, I don't even know what the word is. Like, dirty. That
this isn't dirty. This isn't crazy. Funny? This is normal. When you go on long losing streaks, this is the shit that happens. Last year we were at what? Like we were at like 8 games or something like that. This year we're at 7 games. When you lose consecutive games for that long, all this shit comes out somehow and another.
Time out, but hold on. Didn't we all agree that as much as Flus did a good job last year towards the end, that we would have still wanted a new coach with Caleb? I think we all agreed with that, right?
Yeah.
So like this is what I was gonna mention. When he's talking about like being the CEO or like he's the head of football operations, he didn't really look like that was it. When you're talking about losing streaks, there's a difference between our losing streak, because even if Warren comes out and says this rumor is not true that Waddle and Sylvie put out, you know what the next rumor is going to be? The next rumor is no one believed Warren saying that that's incorrect. So it's like you say something, you're fucked. You don't say something, you're fucked. And we're at the point we're at a point where what could have Warren said to be like, take down that rumor?
You don't. You just don't respond. It's a stupid rumor, Chris. That's literally going to go away in like a few days. It's a rumor. It's going to go. No, it's going to go away.
Who it came out from is very interesting. Like a former player and like someone who's like probably the voice of the Bears. Like
that's neither of that is correct. No. So I don't know who reported it.
Silverman in previous years has always had a great repertoire with the Chicago Bears organization. That's why he was able to get Jay Cutler on a weekly thing, which kind of then birthed.
Yeah, and then they got in an argument.
Then they got right. So he's always been, but he's always been someone that has a connect of some kind. No one's been able to associate who it is, but there have been some conversations. I can't remember exact. I know something came up last year where even he's like, yeah, they're keeping Flus, and everyone's like, no, what do you mean? Blah blah blah. I think it was him too. But I might be rambling, so don't take that with a grain of salt.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything on this, but all I can tell you is that
Miller is a resident Twitter and 670 reporter. So.
Earlier this year, he came out with a story that was literally shot down within hours, and that was when everybody was giving him the benefit of the doubt, and it turned ugly. So I don't know that we should be trusting him as a source in regards to Kevin Warren and Ryan Poles. I mean, who knows? The one thing that we can focus on right now is the fact that Poles is getting a lot of shit. Yeah. He is getting a lot of shit, and It's
will say
starting to get
this.
to the point where I still think I think it's going to be very hard pressed for the Bears to cut bait on both the coach and GM.
Yeah.
But I'm almost getting to the point where it's like, whoo.
If we keep looking this ugly, I don't know.
It's not a
his
coin
head-
flip decision yet, but it's becoming one.
his-
But
That's
here's the
what I-
thing.
on the
Okay,
chopping
so
block.
here's the thing. We can analyze this in future episodes, whatever. But as of right now, we are probably going to get a new head coach. Say we get Ben Johnson. Okay. Say the team doesn't get any better next year. So you fire Poles, because if you fire Poles, you're basically cut bait with Ben Johnson.
See, this is where
it gets complex, and I
but
think
you can't do that knowing like Ben Johnson knowing that will not sign with the Bears.
I know. I agree. That's why I think Poles is going to stick around. I'm sorry. I think Poles will be here. They'll bring in a new coach. They'll be tied together, or you fire him this year, and I just don't see him firing him this year.
There's
At least a
This-
Caleb
this-
trade, I think will keep him through this year, right?
But see, that
Probably
doesn't
the-
make sense either, Boopin. Like, I think you and I are kind of on the same page. Just to touch back on the rumor thing, the reason I brought it up is because if you take that rumor into consideration and you watch the press conference again, you see it. Like,
I
you
think-
see polls kind of like, man, this motherfucker's talking.
Chris,
Like,
I
you see
think
it.
people looked at that press conference and were looking for something. And
Yes, I was
this
one of them.
host- Yeah, and
I
this
even
host just
texted
gave
you
them
guys.
the-
I'm
Yeah.
like, I need to talk about Warren. I even said what he did to polls in that press conference made the job in Chicago like no one wants it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, you don't do that. You don't you let the GM go by himself, and then if you have to bring something up, you schedule your own conference later on. You don't go Jerry Jones where immediately after the game you're the first person looked at to have a conversation, and it's not a player or a coach. Like, you don't do that, but to an extent, you have to look at that situation and be like, was there really a need to have both of those guys to talk about a coach getting fired? I don't think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. We'll probably cover this in a future episode, like Miller said. Looks like they're trying to bring in experienced, tenured coach that has had some success. That's a rumor out there. And
Well, that's not necessarily
the other rumor out there.
he's getting Mike Vrabel will be interviewed.
But see, Mike Vrabel wouldn't come with the situation that's happening right now.
You can't keep saying that, dude.
You're
Like,
gonna
I mean, it's like Caleb and it's like Rome. It's like that's what
There aren't very many jobs where you have an established rookie quarterback.
okay. I'm glad you added rookie, but like, we know what happens with new quarterbacks second year and third year, and you're already going to have a different coordinator coming in. So you have to expect low expectations. You can't set them very high.
No, I disagree. But
Why
we
would
could
you
just-
disagree? Why would you assume that Caleb will have a breakout second year when
Because
everything
look at
else
the
is not there?
dysfunction that's in this year, and he's still going to put up 3,500 yards,
Miller, the
21
dysfunction-
touchdowns, and 7 interceptions.
Miller, the
That's why.
dysfunction was that the players weren't playing for the coach. The coach then gets replaced. Coach gets fired. Offensive coordinator gets fired. Then they're saying that this other coach lost the locker room, gets fired. We bring in this guy who's going to be the lame duck coach, gets 4 yards on offense on fucking first half. And we're going to say that all of this is not a potential downwards cycle if we keep Brown, or if the coordinator stays, that Caleb won't see the same success. He's going to learn a different offense next year.
Yeah. And
All right, good content. for
he's
future
literally
episodes.
just shown that with all of this dysfunction that you just managed, that he's still breaking Chicago Bears records, and he's going to be putting up
Come on,
3,500 yards, 21 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. But you know what? 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio isn't good enough for you. I get it. My fault.
You keep bringing up records like it. Who fucking cares, bro?
Speaking from the guy that's still talking about Trubisky's got the best completion percentage in the rookies.
Is that a fact? That's a fact, though.
So is everything that I've said about Caleb.
Yeah, but here's what's crazy
But
about
those
it.
don't matter to you, right?
Hey, didn't Fields break a record too for rushing yards at some point? He did.
Well, and I've sat here and I said I don't want a rushing quarterback from the very first.
It's a record, though. It's a record.
I know it is.
So you
But it's
can't
not-
use the
it's
same,
not a
you
quarterback
can't use-
record.
What do you mean it's not a quarter? He's a quarterback.
The passing quarterback record. What a quarterback's
You're being-
supposed to do.
You talk about me being
Okay, let's
nitpicky.
talk about
Jesus
something
fucking Christ.
positive. Positivity rating, people.
I don't.
As you
I'll-
guys are thinking about your number,
I don't even have to think about it. I'll
remind
cut you off. I'll cut you off. It's going to be 0 the rest of the season. This is the game for me. I'm done with the Bears.
Okay, good going. Chris was at 4. Caleb was at 6 for Chris, but he doesn't.
You know what? I will give Caleb a 7.
Oh, he went up. Good for him.
In
I'm
garbage
down.
time, he looked great.
I'm going from an 8.5 to, we're going to say a 4. First of all, that wasn't garbage time. It was coming out of the
Garbage
half.
time. That's
It's coming out of the
garbage
half.
time. Sorry. Garbage time.
Coming out of the half, he's hitting darts.
All right,
Couldn't do it the first half.
8.5 to what?
Didn't I say 4?
4. Okay. I was at a 6. I'm also going down to a 4. I was hoping for. We were all expecting a better game. I was hoping
The players
for a new
needed to
coach
do
for-
something this game, and they did nothing.
Yep, I'm very disappointed. But there's some Caleb, some good things about the team. I don't want to go lower than a 4. So that's where we are in positive rating. Coming up next, we're gonna talk about the Bears' opponent, and lucky for us, they are 11-2 and have won 6 straight. So nothing bad's gonna happen to the Bears. We are taking on Minnesota. The total is 43.5, and Minnesota is a 7-point favorite. Sam Darnold is having the career of his fucking life. He's probably in the MVP conversation soon.
Pay
He
the
threw
man.
for
No, he's not.
five touchdowns, people.
Allen
5
got 6.
touchdowns this last game. It's insane. Minnesota's doing some good stuff. We took them to OT in home, but I feel like in Minnesota, we're gonna get trounced. It's nothing, no more good news for us. I have some stats for you guys. Anything you guys want to cover before we jump into the
Jump into the stats, brother.
Okay.
Want to hear
cool.
what you got?
Oh fuck. This is gonna be rough. Let's talk about their strengths. Defense. They're second best against the rush. But 18th overall. They are pretty bad at passing, 29th in the league so far. So like that's their weakness. That's where we can do well. Their offense, they're ranked middle of the pack, 8th, 9th in most categories. In rushing yards, they're slightly worse at 17. Their O-line has played pretty well. They're 13th best per PFF, Chris. Even though they lost their left tackle midseason. That's probably the matchup right there. Like I said, they're our passing game against their porous defense. If we can withstand their amazing pass rush.
Yeah, it'll be a rough one. Flores again coming into town. Caleb handled him pretty well last time, so it goes back to what we talked about before. This is the second time playing a defense that he's played before. We'll see if he can make some adjustments to what they're going to attack. Obviously, they're going to make some adjustments, but towards the end of that game, they were grooving. They were grooving against this defense. So let's see if we can break it out again. It'll be interesting if we can hold JJ down, Justin Jefferson down again. Remember last time, I think we held him to 27 yards. We did have 2 pass interference calls that were pretty big, but held him in check. But Jordan Addison torched us. So I don't know.
He's been on fire. I think he scored 3 touchdowns last game.
Yeah, I could see a big Jordan Addison game because Tyreek Stevenson has fallen off the fucking map ever since the Washington game. His head hasn't been right apparently, and he's just sucked royal ass. But I think Hawkinson, this could be his coming out party too. I mean, we just got trounced by Kittle. And I could see Hawkinson doing the same thing to us at their tight end position. So it'll be interesting. I don't know. I like to hold out hope, but I just can't. I don't have faith in this team anymore, to be honest with you. I don't know where we're going to be right. Can I just hope for 100 yards in the first half? Is that capable?
I want 5 or 10 at minimum.
5, bro. Like you can't go from 4 to 100. Give us like 25 this game or something. No, but
well, we were at 50. We were at 50. We went to 4, and now I'm expecting a little bit more. I was hoping a reasonable output. 100 and a half is reasonable.
You guys know me. Like I say, hey, we'll look competitive and blah blah blah. I don't even know if I can do this. I think we're getting our asses handed to us this game. You guys ready for some score prediction?
Yeah, I think one thing that people don't necessarily bring up, being that it's a Monday night game.
Yeah, one of the 2 Monday night games this week.
Yeah, which, God, if they can flex us, please.
No, I am going to watch it downtown. Leave it. It's going to be
flex it.
Monday night.
You're coming
Flex
downtown?
it.
All right.
Yes.
You don't read messages, do you, Boopin? I think Darnold is about to hit 3,500 yards or something like that. Pay the man. Like that's got to be the
they
next
have not
conversation.
had a conversation about that,
They're not-
supposedly.
you think they're going to pay him?
They have to.
But they have a rookie they drafted.
They have a rookie. I get that, but the man is balling. You have to pay the man.
I don't
Pay
know.
him something.
I don't know.
Do the Kirk Cousins, give him a 1 year, 100 million
No,
or
no.
whatever or something. I'm not going to give him 100 million.
They can franchise him, can't they?
And
I
pay
don't
him
think they
like
can
40 million?
Why?
I think it's a 2-year deal he signed. So I think he has one more after this. And then they can franchise him.
I don't think. I know it's a 1 year deal.
I thought it was a 2-year option.
No.
I'll take a
Guys,
gander.
I
I'll
think
take a gander.
I have the perfect plan. You guys ready? He will go back to New York
Did you-
Jets.
It's possible, dude. Don't count it out.
That would be hilarious.
I honestly I agree with you, but I don't know, dude. What do you do with JJ then? You just keep him? Just pay the guy 25 mil,
Yeah.
30 mil for 3 years and just call it a day?
I don't know. They
I
may
guess
go all the way. If they go to Super Bowl, then he's out. Then JJ can take over for the team next year.
You don't even know when JJ's gonna be ready. He tore his ACL. Look at the fucking guy out of Panthers. Just retore his ACL.
True.
So it's like if you have Darnold, let him sit behind Darnold for 3 years.
So I think you're right. It was a 1 year deal. He does get like a dead cap hit apparently, which is kind of weird to see, but okay. But yeah, I think you could probably do like a 4-year deal with him if you.
You're not gonna do 4 years, dude.
With the
If
rookie-
JJ's contract's up in 4 years. You need JJ on the field in 4 years, in 3 more years minimum.
like if,
You needed to
they're
pull
smart.
at least a Jordan Love.
Yeah, or I was gonna say do a Geno or a Baker kind of deal, where it's like you don't kill the bank, but you also like give the man some money and then keep him happy, and maybe you compete, see who comes out on turf.
But
next
don't you
year.
guys think that with him making playoffs and maybe getting playoff wins, like that's enough for a 4-year deal for me?
I mean, like
Not
it
when
is,
you have a
but-
rookie. You just
No.
invested in a rookie. If you give the
Also-
guy 4 years, that is literally the entire span of JJ's contract.
Yeah, but that's what's
Oh.
part he's going to be asking Miller. Like, I'm not just coming up with 4 years.
I
you
don't
know?
think he comes up from where he's came from. He's had one good year
That's what
and
I'm
he's
saying.
turning around and asking for 4 years. Look at Baker. He had
Yeah.
one good year in
He had
Tampa
2
and
good
he didn't.
years.
No,
2.
he had one good year. He just signed a 1-year deal with Tampa. And then he had
But, like-
one good year and then he signed an extension for a few more years.
Chris, do you like take his career before this and just like,
No.
throw out the window? Like he has not done this, right? I think he's like I don't want to call him a systems quarterback and insult the guy, but
It's
there's
what
something
these
that
guys are.
There's
But they
something that
get
works there.
wins. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
He's been in like 4 different teams and
but in
not
what
done this.
would we be able to say that he's been a successful, like, it's been a successful scenario for him to be in those?
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. But he's a system quarterback. These guys, and you look at Brock Purdy for the Niners, they're system quarterbacks. They are playing with some of the best offensive minds
Okay.
in the NFL.
I have a question.
And
then.
they are going to get paid, specifically Purdy, and I think he's going to destroy that roster because of
Okay.
it.
So I have a question. If you have Sam Darnold now, and then you have Caleb Williams, you're willing to pay the superstar potential over what Sam Darnold can bring you success in the playoff, possibility success in the playoffs now?
I don't know what your question is.
You're
That-
essentially paying for the potential with JJ in comparison to what Sam Darnold can do for you right now and in the next couple of years, which is possibly playoffs and playoff wins.
I said I agree with you.
No,
I think
it's a general
I think
question. I'm
Giving
not,
him
it's
a
not a gotcha
contract
question.
is fine, but I don't think 4 years is on the realm. I think
Yeah.
a 2-year contract
But a
extension.
2-year contract doesn't benefit him, is what I'm saying. So he will be asking.
It
for
will
4 years.
benefit him. What's his age? He's 28, 29? 27. 2 years, that puts him in 29. If he puts up these stats for the next 2 years, he's looking at a
He's going to get
5-year.
franchised. That's 3.
No, he's not. Not with JJ. They're not going to franchise him. If the Packers didn't franchise at Rodgers, I mean, that's a little different.
That's
But
very
like,
different.
but it's the same concept. If you have a rookie that you invested in, you're either going to do what the Niners did and say, we have our guy and we're going to pay him for 5 years and trade JJ, or you're going to look short term for the guy, get rid of him, and bring up your rookie. It's one of two options.
I just think that what I don't want to see for the Vikings, which I don't care, they're in our division, but whatever. What I don't want to see is that it eventually costs them, a potential Super Bowl, which I don't think they're a Super Bowl team right now, but they can definitely grow to become one, given the pieces that they already have. But that's what I'm saying. Like the pieces that they already have, if you insert JJ, given what you think he can do, it's a speculation at that point where at least you see what you have with Darnold. I can see maybe 2 years, but I don't think he wants 2 years. I think he would want more.
I don't think he has a choice.
See, I can see that point now that we're talking about. I can see where it's like, this is what I'm giving you. What other teams could possibly like jump in? I mean, Jets could be a possibility. You never know.
Like Titans, like this.
I just don't think. I don't think anybody's giving him a 5-year deal.
No, I don't think 5. No, 5. I don't. If
I don't even think 4. I think the max
is
4
$90
with an
million.
I think
Like
it's 4 with an
$90
option.
million is what I'm thinking. Like he signs, like somewhere in that
$45 million.
Wait, say that again?
3 year, 30 million. So 90 million in 3 years.
Oh, I thought you said 2 million or 2 year 90 million.
You're saying he's a
Sorry.
$90 million guaranteed quarterback right now?
I mean,
Not guaranteed. We're not pulling Deshaun Watson up in this bitch.
That's what I'm just
I
clarifying.
mean that's
He's
more
just
money
saying
than-
3 years,
I don't know
30
what his
million, or
Minnesota
3 years,
contract was.
90 million with like 60, 70 guaranteed. Fine.
What's
I
he
don't know.
making right now? Like 10 mil?
Probably. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so like 30 mil. Like I don't know, like maybe 2. Like,
See, I could see the Vikings offering that. Maybe even paying a little bit more, doing a 2 year 70 million
something like that.
and
Okay.
keeping him.
That's tough.
Okay,
All right.
Okay, people, get your calculators out. Total is 43.5. Minnesota is 7-point favorite. What are your score predictions? As you guys are doing your math, I came prepared.
Okay.
My Bears fandom stopped me for making this more of a loss than what it is. I say Vikes win 28-17.
27-21 Bear. Not Bears. Vikings.
Sorry, what was it?
Vikings. 27-21 Vikings.
I think we get blown out. I mean, they came scoring 42 on Atlanta. I could see something similar. This defense just did not look like they gave a shit.
Caleb doesn't throw interceptions, bro. Come on, we know that.
You know what? I'll say he throws 2 interceptions this game. I'm gonna say 36-14, something like that.
Oh God.
Chris, just so you know, Minnesota does lead the league in interceptions too.
That's great. They still win.
Okay.
See how that stat means nothing? See that? See how?
No, I think he was saying at getting interception, taking the ball away.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Then
So
that
that's why
matters.
I'm giving you props that like he might actually throw his first interceptions against them because they're pretty good at getting them. Okay. We got through a lot. Lots of negative stuff. Let's talk about some fun stuff.
Please.
Fantasy playoffs are here. And
I want to start. I know.
I
start
know.
this.
Happy to report all of us have
Playoff
good things
bound,
to
baby.
share. Yeah, playoff bound. Have good things to share. Chris,
Okay.
we've followed your journey all throughout.
Yes, you have.
You get to start us off.
I
Tell
get
us
to
where you
start. All right. I never get to do this because he always thinks that I'm. Why am I not the big head? Hold on. I gotta move myself. Wait, is this not working?
This is why he doesn't fucking
I
get
can't
to fucking
Hold
do
on. Can
this.
you mute yourself and then I can then swap? Nope, it doesn't work. Never mind. I was gonna give a whole spiel. I'm very thankful for Miller's help. Without his help, I would not get the number 1 overall seed, and I get the bye. I did message these guys pretty late yesterday before the game started. I was an 11-point underdog, and I was playing against Burrow. but I had Chase, brother, and Chase came out balling, and I got the number 1 overall seed. Our buddy John got second, but because we were in the same division, he does not get the bye. He is actually fourth.
That's bullshit. I hate divisions. Divisions should be taken out of fantasy football. It's garbage.
But it's been a very, very fun fantasy football season.
It is fun when you win, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's a little bit different when you win.
Good job, Chris.
Yeah, very proud of you. Like you were like 0-2 or something.
I was 1-3.
1-3, yeah.
I got that beat.
What
You can
got
go
the-
next, Boopin. You can go next.
Okay. I made playoffs in 3 out of 4 leagues, including the league of record that we care about a lot. I got the number 1 overall seed. I got a first round bye. Hopefully playing Miller if he wins this week.
No,
I'll
he
play
doesn't
him.
want that. He doesn't want that. That's
I
like a
don't want
death
that.
sentence.
Where
Miller's
did
beat
Jeff
me.
end up?
Miller's beat me every year.
Jeff
for
is
the past
out?
3 years.
Can we FaceTime him?
No.
After the show on YouTube, we'll do that.
Dude, I am so fucking happy. Dude, I blasted him in our league chat too.
Hold on. I'm gonna just put
Last
the-
year he had CMC. This year he had Saquon. The fantasy shit came out. Basically 70% of fantasy teams had those players in consecutive years. The odds of him missing the playoffs in both those is like 5%. It's fucking amazing. The cocky fuck. Okay. Boopin, props to being number 1. Good luck. Maybe you can actually bring home a championship if you don't play me.
You know what I mean?
This is consecutive seasons for Boopin in the playoffs. Yes,
4 years in a row. I was just saying.
4 years.
Miller.
Miller missed and made previous, right? Something like that.
I think I'm 3 years in a row.
3 years.
I don't know. I might have missed one. I think it might have been second, missed second, first.
Something like that.
Something like that. All I know is I've been in the championship a lot. Sorry. I just keep winning.
Talk about cocky
It's
fuck.
fine.
So humble. So
It's fine. 4 teams, playoff bound on all of them. Let's go. 0-5, playoffs. Yup.
Wow.
Those are the stories that really warm my heart.
6. What I end up? 6-8, 6-8, 6-7. One of those two.
Wait, you
I'm a
made
little lucky.
playoffs
Playoffs
with
on
6
the
and
negative
8?
record.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's not as impressive. I thought you would
Yeah,
have
I-
ran the table.
Yeah, or something.
I basically ran the table, but yeah, I'm number 1 overall seed on 1. I already started the playoffs last week in another. We won our first round. Let's go. It's my
Wow.
big money league.
So
But-
need some advice because Disley is doubtful for his game,
Dude,
and my
that's-
tight end.
I have no fucking idea what to tell you.
Yeah, Kincaid is still listed as questionable, but they're playing against Denver, but it's a bye week for me, so I kind of just want to play with the lineup a little bit. But what do we feel like tight ends?
Who's
at
on?
this
Who's
market?
available?
Well, I have to check again.
You can't just fucking leave an
We have
open-ended question.
Mayor from Las Vegas, Smart, Gray from Kansas
Gray,
City,
get Gray.
and then just drop.
Disley.
Okay,
Disney's hurt anyway, I think.
all right.
Yeah, going to that. Obviously, we talked about it's playoffs, fantasy playoffs. Suggestions from the champion. Trying to be humble here. Play your guys. I don't know what to tell you, man. Just play your studs. That's what you have to do. I know there's matchups occur. I know bad matchups are there, but play your studs. Don't be fucking trying to bench Gibbs or Barkley because you think so-and-so is going to have a great game. Play your studs and hope for the best. At least you can go out fighting. Look at over-unders if you do have questionable decisions. Look at high scoring. If you have a 50-point over-under compared to a 40-point over-under, you might want to play that 50-point wide receiver because more points are going to be scored. Better for fantasy. Obviously, you should be planning ahead for your defenses because those do fluctuate. Look at the matchups there. Hope for the best. If you don't have an elite defense. So those are just a few suggestions there. As far as people on your team, if you are doing a redraft team, if they're on IR, get rid of them. Don't even have them on your roster. There's no point of keeping them. They're not going to be playing. If they're missing multiple weeks, like Disley, get rid of them. If he's going to be out 2 weeks, are you really going to trust him to come back for the championship not knowing his shape? Nope. Bye-bye. Just get rid of him. And just hope for the best, man. Just have fun with it. Be stressed. Enjoy it. You made it to the playoffs. That's the goal. Like, fantasy's a crapshoot. Anything can happen. Any week. Doesn't matter.
Also, again, don't forget PPR matters for running backs too. If you're in a PPR league, look at a flex running back if you feel like he's getting enough throws his way. That's the best advice I've gotten, and it seems to be working. The one thing I wanted to ask, I know we talked about it in the first episode, how good of a flex position we've been utilizing. So if it's wide receiver or running back, I've been more on the wide receiver front. What have you guys been using? Have you guys been split?
I've been running back heavy this year.
Wow. Okay.
My team's pretty balanced for the most part. I get to choose which has a better matchup and play back and forth. So what I've had is I've had 3 solid wide receivers and 3 solid running backs. So if someone behind has a terrible matchup, I swap them out. That's what I've been playing all year, and it's worked out okay for me.
Okay.
But as Miller was saying, defenses, there's like crapshoot to play against. So what I have listed is some injuries, which might be opportunities for you to pick up some defenses. Derek Carr and Aiden O'Connell both are likely out at least a couple of weeks, if not more. So look to find the team that's playing the Saints or the Vegas next couple of matchups. See, that might be a decent opportunity for you to get some points. In terms of just running back opportunities there. Like someone like Gorendo, who's playing Thursday night, may not play. Breece Hall is hurt. Bucky Irving went out. Like Kenneth Walker is also hurt. Like this week, Charbonnet was the number 1 running back, and he was picked off the waivers, right? So staying active.
He wasn't on the waivers.
But he was not played all year, and if you had him stashed or if you picked him up from the waivers, like Gorendo, definitely, right? Like he won some people to matchups. So just keep an eye on that. Someone deleted my notes, but what I wanted to bring up was
you want to bring up a second string running back, really?
Well, what I was gonna say is if you have Chuba Hubbard on your bench like I do, now you can confidently start him because the other guy that was taking some touches is hurt. Thank you, Miller, for nothing.
Well, I have a question for the group because none of that made any sense to me, and I was not really in that same bucket. But I have the Chiefs and I have the Baltimore defense. However,
play Baltimore this week.
However,
you're not playing this week.
The Bengals defense is open for a claim, and
God no! Don't touch them with a 50-foot pole.
Hold on,
Atlanta.
No,
they play Cleveland and then Denver.
Stop.
The days that I play.
Stop talking. No.
Why would you
not touch the Bengals defense? If you go look at their stats of what they've done in the last
15
5
points
games
against Cleveland, though. Oh my God,
Chris, look at Atlanta.
The Bengals did?
Yeah.
No,
they've been Cleveland, and that's who they match up in 2 weeks.
They've been getting destroyed.
Look up Atlanta. That's a big one. I think Kansas City, if I remember.
You have fine defenses. Who's Kansas City playing in 2 weeks? Not that we're going to make this all about you.
Yeah,
Houston.
About time.
Houston.
At home or on the road?
They got Houston at home and then at Pitt and then Baltimore.
Houston will be fine. You can play Kansas City with Houston at home.
They haven't done much. I have them rostered. They've not been terrible, but they have not been the same defense.
Baltimore has
Baltimore have the Giants this week.
Giants
and then
Pitt next week and then at Houston.
Yeah. Baltimore's probably done after this week.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be trusting the Bengals defense. If Cooper Rush can make them look like butter, I don't think you should trust them.
They've been fairly weak all season. Like we talked about, they've been pretty weak all season. They have not showed up in key matches, I think. let's see. That was majority. We talked about Will Disley. He's probably out for a couple games. George Picken, he's probably ruled out already for this week. Lad McConkey, keep an eye. He may not play this week as well. Those are the big injuries. If you can afford to, if you have a bye this week, no, everyone's playing for this week, right? So look out ahead. See who you're playing. If you have a bad matchup, defenses, Chris, good idea to look who's playing who and pick up. That might be a good way because it's just 1 week now, right? It's win or go home. So everyone's focus on this week. So you have a unique advantage if you have a bye to look into next week. Make sure you take advantage of that. And I think that's our show.
That's our show. We got it under an hour. Miller, send us home.
Thank you for listening. We hope that you will hit the like and subscribe button. But realistically, we're not going to read this shit because I am the fantasy god. I'm the one that sat here. I gave you all of that information that hopefully led your team to the playoffs. Remember, when you listen to Miller, playoffs are in your future, just like these two fucks sitting next to me. That's what happens when you listen to me, baby. Thank you for listening. It's been a pleasure. Let's fucking go win some Super Bowls. Bye-bye.
It was a mistake having him sign off, but I'm sorry.
I think it was a collaborative process.
Yeah, no, that was a mistake. Bye-bye, everyone. Have a good night. We're looking forward to getting shit on Monday.
What was your seed, Miller?
Which one? I have a 1, a 4, and 2 6s.
All right, and that's the end of the recording. We are now going to be ending it on YouTube. Thank you to those that were watching.
Wait, no, let's call Jeff on the YouTube. That's what I was gonna say.
What, you really want to do that?
No, we're not calling Jeff.
Oh, that would have been fun.
It's freaking bedtime for his kids. Leave the kid alone.
All right, we're going to end the stream there. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys next week when we get annihilated on Monday Night Football. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you walked into that.